All right, today we're going to go over the IDS controller installation for a 22 and up Acura MDX. I'll explain to you a little bit about what the IDS controller does itself. So on the new MDXs, they have drive modes you can select from. You have 5 different drive modes. You have Snow, Comfort, Normal, Sport, and a new one, Individual. And these drive modes are selectable for each trip. The only problem is the only 2 that you can retain are Normal and Comfort. So if you want Sport or you want Individual, for example, if you have an individual mode and then you go and shut the car off and restart it, it will automatically default to Normal. It won't save Individual because the idle stop can be disabled in Individual mode, so it won't allow you to save that mode. What the IDS controller does allows you to save Individual mode. It also has another function where it can save Sport mode if you prefer Sport mode over Individual. The board itself has a little red jumper on it, and you can simply just take this red jumper off, and this will be Sport mode, and with the red jumper installed, this will be Individual mode. So it will come shipped in Individual mode, and if you want to change it to Sport, just remove this red jumper and it will save Sport mode instead of Individual. All right, let's get to installation of this thing. All right, this one's pretty simple. First thing we're gonna do is remove this AC climate display unit. I'm gonna turn the car off here. And you can go about this a couple different ways. You can put a pry tool in between here and pry outward. I like to reach underneath here and just kind of grab the panel itself. And it's pretty tight on the side. So if you can get your fingers back there and pop the edge open, it will pop the front half of it out. Enough for you to get your hand back in there and then be able to pop the rest of this AC panel off. Now it's just 4 clips and there are 2 connectors on the back. So I will just unplug the 2 connectors, and actually there's 5 clips. There's 2 on the outside and 3 in the middle. So we'll just set that to the side. The next thing we're gonna go after is this shifter assembly. And this also just pops out. So it's just clipped in and it's clipped on the bottom and the top, and the whole thing just lifts out, and we can go ahead and set that over to the side. What we're really after is this connector right here on the back of the dynamic mode switch. So we're gonna unplug that, and we're gonna take our IDS controller and we're gonna plug one end into the connector, and then we're gonna plug the other end into the back of the dynamic mode switch. Just like that. And I'm not gonna fully put everything back together just because I wanna test everything. So I'll plug the climate unit back in. There we go. I'll just lay everything up here so I can start it up and get it to hold Individual mode. So when you start it up, it should say Normal, and then in about 5 seconds, it should switch over to Individual mode automatically without having to do anything. And there it was right there. And the best part about the Individual mode is you can set your steering, you can set your engine transmission shifting, but the main highlight is you can turn the auto idle stop off in the Individual mode. So I'll go into the Individual mode here, and if you hold down the individual button, you can go in here and customize all of your features. So for example, I like my steering on Sport, but I like my engine on Normal, and let's say I want my suspension on Comfort. So you can kind of pick a little bit of everything, really. It's got your gauge options. If you want Comfort, Normal, or Sport gauges, you can do lighting, and depending on your trim level, you might have more lighting options, but in this one, I like the red lights because we have red interior, so let's stick with that. And then the main thing, which I'm concerned with the most, and I know a lot of people are concerned with, is this auto idle stop here. And the auto idle stop on the previous models had a button, which this one does also, to turn it on and off. But it's also available as a setting now in the Individual mode. So you can go down here and you can select idle stop and you can disable it, and it will always disable the idle stop when you're in Individual mode only. So that's great, but the problem is it won't stay in Individual mode without the IDS controller. So that's what the IDS controller is for. It's to hold Individual mode, so you don't have to push and select Individual every time you get in the car. Like I said, if you want Sport mode, you can just remove that jumper and it will go into Sport mode automatically. The other thing with the IDS controller installed, you can still change drive modes at any time to any drive mode you want. You want to be in snow for a while, that's fine. Maybe it's snowing. Maybe you're doing some aggressive driving and you want to be in sport mode. So we'll just put it in sport mode here, and let's just say we were driving around in sport mode for a while and we got home, and now we're gonna go shut the car off. So the next drive we get into it, it will automatically pull back up individual mode again, because that's the setting we have on the IDS controller. So it'll say normal for a couple seconds, and then it'll just automatically shift to individual. And that's really it. Obviously assembly is just reverse the installation, just clip this panel back in and clip this panel back in. And that's really it. It's pretty straightforward, really simple install, but I'm really excited about this, and I hope you guys enjoy this product. Thanks for watching.